America is on the brink of an unprecedented crisis, one that threatens to disrupt our lives in ways we can barely imagine. The signs are all around us, from empty supermarket shelves to deserted city streets with shuttered shops. This is not just a temporary inconvenience, it's a harbinger of a much deeper problem. People are worried, and rightfully so. They look at empty shelves and wonder what comes next. They read alarming news on their smartphones, trying to make sense of a world that seems to be unraveling. This is not hyperbole. This is the cold, hard reality of our dependence on foreign imports, particularly from China. Our supply chains are stretched thin, and any disruption can have cascading effects. Cargo ships are delayed, containers sit idle at docks, and the flow of goods slows to a trickle. For decades, we've gorged ourselves on cheap goods, sacrificing our own manufacturing might at the altar of low prices. Factories have closed, and once thriving manufacturing plants now stand abandoned. We've outsourced our production, and now we're paying the price. Now the bill has come due. The warehouses are empty, and the bills are piling up. The economic model we've relied on is showing its cracks, and the consequences are becoming impossible to ignore. The trade war, tariffs, and the breakdown of global supply chains have exposed the fragility of our economic model. Newspaper headlines scream about trade wars and tariffs, but the real story is the vulnerability of our interconnected world. We've become a nation of consumers, not producers, and the consequences of this imbalance are about to hit us with full force. Shopping malls are crowded, and lines at electronics stores are long, but the supply of goods is dwindling. The stock market is volatile, and people are distressed. The imbalance between consumption and production is becoming painfully clear, and the economic repercussions are severe. Forget about inflation, forget about rising interest rates. The real threat is the coming wave of shortages that will impact every aspect of our lives. News anchors talk about inflation and interest rates, but the looming shortages are the real danger. The real threat is the coming wave of shortages that will impact every aspect of our lives. Grocery store aisles are empty and pharmacies can't stock essential medicines. The shortages are not just an inconvenience, they are a crisis. This is not just another recession. This is a systemic crisis that will test the very fabric of our society. People are queuing outside food banks, and small businesses are closing their doors. The social fabric is fraying, and the strain is evident. This is a systemic crisis that will test the very fabric of our society. Protests are erupting, and people are struggling to buy essentials. The crisis is not just economic, it's social and political. Get ready, because the times ahead will be unlike anything we've ever experienced. The clock is ticking, and the calendar pages are flipping quickly. The future is uncertain, and the challenges are immense. This is not a scene from a dystopian movie, but a very real possibility if we fail to address the looming crisis of unprecedented shortages. The scenes of empty shelves and shocked faces are not fiction. They are a glimpse of what could be our reality. This is a very real possibility if we fail to address the looming crisis of unprecedented shortages. Families are stressed and people are anxious. The time to act is now, before it's too late. For years we've been told that globalization is inevitable, that free trade is the path to prosperity. The promise was simple. Open markets would lead to economic growth and a better quality of life for everyone. And for a while it seemed like the good times would never end. Consumers enjoyed an unprecedented era of abundance. Cheap electronics, affordable clothing, toys that cost pennies on the dollar, all became staples of our daily lives, all thanks to China's emergence as the world's factory floor. The efficiency and scale of Chinese manufacturing were unmatched. But this dependence on Chinese imports has come at a steep price. American factories have shuttered, unable to compete with the low costs of production overseas. Millions of manufacturing jobs have vanished, leaving communities across the country struggling with unemployment and economic decline. And we've become alarmingly reliant on a single source for a vast array of essential goods. This over-reliance poses significant risks. We've traded our economic independence for the allure of low prices, a trade-off that seemed beneficial at first but now reveals its true cost. And now we're about to pay the piper. The numbers are staggering. The economic imbalance is more pronounced than ever. In 2024 alone, the U.S. imported over $438 billion worth of goods from China, a figure that underscores our dependency. Everything from electrical machinery and vehicle parts to toys and furniture. These imports touch nearly every aspect of our lives. We've outsourced the production of vital components for our industries, creating a fragile supply chain that is susceptible to disruptions, leaving us vulnerable to disruptions in the global supply chain. Any hiccup can lead to significant shortages and economic turmoil. The vast majority of goods imported from China arrive by sea, a method that is efficient but fraught with potential delays and complications, making us heavily reliant on a complex and increasingly fragile global shipping network. This intricate web of logistics is the backbone of our modern economy, yet it is more vulnerable than we might think. The trade war, initiated in the name of protecting American jobs and industries, has only exacerbated our dependence on China. What started as a strategy to bring manufacturing back to American soil has instead highlighted the intricate web of global supply chains that bind the two nations together. Tariffs intended to make Chinese goods less attractive have backfired, driving up prices for consumers and businesses alike. Everyday items, from electronics to clothing, have seen price hikes, squeezing household budgets and forcing businesses to reconsider their pricing strategies. The result? Higher costs, reduced consumer spending, and a slowdown in economic growth. Small businesses in particular have felt the pinch, with many unable to absorb the increased costs, leading to closures and layoffs. But the real damage goes far beyond the immediate impact on prices. The ripple effects have been felt across various sectors, from manufacturing to retail, creating a domino effect that has stifled economic momentum. The tariffs have created uncertainty and instability in the global marketplace, making it difficult for businesses to plan for the future. Companies are hesitant to invest in new projects or expand operations, fearing further economic turbulence. Investment has slowed, hiring has stalled, and the threat of further escalation hangs over the global economy like a dark cloud. The uncertainty has led to a cautious approach in hiring, with many companies opting to freeze recruitment until the situation stabilizes. The ongoing trade dispute has morphed into a dangerous game of economic chicken, with both sides seemingly unwilling to back down. Each new round of tariffs and counter-tariffs only serves to deepen the divide, making a resolution seem increasingly out of reach. While negotiations continue, the damage to the global trading system is already done. The trust that once underpinned international trade agreements has been severely undermined, making future cooperation more challenging. Trust has been eroded, supply chains have been disrupted, and the specter of a full-blown trade war looms large. Companies are scrambling to find alternative suppliers, but the process is neither quick nor easy. The trade war and the imposition of tariffs have led to a significant drop in trade between the two economic superpowers, disrupting supply chains and fueling uncertainty. The long-term consequences of this economic standoff remain to be seen, but the immediate impact is clear: a fractured global economy struggling to find its footing. The chickens are coming home to roost. The combination of our over-reliance on Chinese imports, the disruptions caused by the trade war, and the fragility of global supply chains has created the perfect storm for unprecedented shortages. Empty shelves, once a rarity, are becoming increasingly commonplace. Remember the toilet paper panic of 2020? That was just a taste of what's to come. We're talking about shortages of everything from essential electronics and car parts to basic consumer goods and even food. The things we take for granted, the products that keep our economy humming, are about to become scarce and expensive. Imagine a world where you can't find the parts to fix your car, where your local grocery store is running low on basic staples, where businesses are forced to shut down because they can't get the components they need. This is not a far-fetched scenario. It's the inevitable consequence of our current trajectory. The sight of empty shelves is becoming increasingly common as supply chain disruptions and shortages start to bite. As we delve deeper into the complexities of trade disruptions, it's essential to understand the cascading effects they have on global economies. When trade routes are blocked or tariffs are imposed, it's not just about goods being delayed. It's about entire industries feeling the pressure. Imagine, for instance, a small business owner who relies on imported materials to create their products. When those materials become scarce or more expensive, it can mean the difference between thriving and shutting down. Larger corporations might have more resources to weather the storm, but even they are not immune. Increased costs can lead to higher prices for consumers and ultimately a slowdown in economic growth. And let's not forget about the workers. Jobs can be lost and livelihoods disrupted, creating a ripple effect that can be felt across communities and even nations. So as we brace for impact, it's crucial to consider not just the immediate effects, but the long-term implications of trade disruptions on our interconnected world. Some sectors are facing a severe crisis, almost on the brink of extinction. The ripple effects of trade disruptions have hit them the hardest. Industries that once thrived are now struggling to survive. It's a stark reminder of how interconnected our global economy truly is. Shifting to domestic production is not an easy task. It requires substantial investment, time, and resources. Companies need to rethink their supply chains, invest in new technologies, and train their workforce. It's a long road, but one that many believe is necessary for future stability. The urgency of finding a solution cannot be overstated. Every day that passes without action, the economic impact deepens. Businesses are closing, jobs are being lost, and communities are suffering. It's a race against time to implement effective measures that can mitigate these challenges. America stands at a crossroads. The decisions made today will shape the future of the economy for years to come. Will we adapt and overcome these challenges, or will we falter and face further decline? The path we choose will define our nation's resilience and ability to thrive in a rapidly changing world.